Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Penfield Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting tonight is being video recorded and is also being broadcast live on the Town of Penfield's website, which is penfield.org. Also on the Town of Penfield's Government Access channel. Who knows what channel it is? I say it every month.
Thanks for the test.
Nobody. 1303. Unbelievable. But okay. Penfield Government's Access Channel 1303, and on streaming media devices, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can search Penfield TV in your device's app store, and it is a free app. If you'd like to address the board tonight on any public hearing matter, there is going to be specific time for you to be able to do that. If you're here in person, you can come up to one of these tables and give us your name and address, and then give us your comments about the application. That usually happens after the board's had a chance to ask the applicant questions. If you are viewing this from home or some outside location, you can comment by either calling 340-8771 or submitting comments or questions electronically also through the town's website of penfield.org. We like to point out each and every meeting that we think the town does an excellent job of alerting citizens about the agenda of this board. And the town does that so people are fully aware of their right to come in and comment and ask any questions. They don't even have to do it at the meeting. They can and often do call with questions ahead of time, but the town does that by many ways. First, sending postcards to people that reside or own property within a certain number of feet of the subject property. The town does that by making the applicant post the signs that we've all seen out on the property, so when you're driving by, you can see that it's the subject of an application. The town also posts the agendas on its website, and every month I always say I think they still do it here at town, but I'm not sure about that one, folks, to be quite honest with you, but let's say for tonight they do. So we think it's a process that works. We'd like to get information from folks if there are concerns, or if many times people come in to note that they're in favor of the application, and that's helpful as well. So having said that, I would, well, I guess I forgot that what we'll do is we'll start with our work session tonight. We will take care of tabled matters. We'll address the minutes from the last meeting. When that's done, which should be only a few minutes, we'll attend to tonight's public hearings. We'll ask the applicant to come up, give us name and address, and then we'll likely have board members walk the applicant through the process. We find that an easier way to work. There are very thorough written applications submitted. We've all gone over them, visited the sites when necessary. I don't say that in order to restrict anybody's time to speak on anything. You'll all have as much time as you need, but we just find it flows a little better when the board members lead folks through the application. I think that's it. So having said all that, I'd ask everyone to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One thing I wouldn't note today is we usually have 5 members. Tonight we only have 4, but for any motion to pass, it does need 3 votes. I believe that's correct, right, Council Michael? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. May we have the first application, please?
First tabled application?
Yes, where's the agenda?
Do you want to do the minutes first, maybe?
As soon as I pull this agenda up, yeah. Yes, let's do the approval of the minutes from the January 19th meeting. I'm so glad I have them with me.
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes as written and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now getting to the tabled applications, We have 2070 Empire Boulevard, which is the RG&E one. Once again, there's a request by applicant to table it.
Yes.
All right. I'll make a motion to table based upon the applicant's request. I think we still are under the impression that the applicant is continuing to work on the application and
Yes.
in good faith.
Yes.
All right.
Second it.
Motion to table that one and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. The second one is 1801 and 1787 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road. That's been withdrawn.
Correct.
Okay. So we'll just consider that matter off. We do have, I'm going to skip to number 4, Hampstead Drive, 60 Hampstead Drive. That was tabled for several reasons, and the applicant's sort of still working on gathering info.
Yeah, the biggest thing that we need to take care of is identifying the property line. He's going to have it staked out so that we can narrow down, clarify exactly what the setback is.
Yeah, well, that certainly is important. And then also, I would, if you don't mind, just reiterate to the applicant the request for the attempts, at least, to contact the neighbor and work out something on the driveway and or any concerns the neighbor may have, which I'm not aware that nothing's been expressed to us, so I'm not sure, but I think that was a reason to table as well. But in any event, on that one, I'd make a motion to table.
Dan, before we table, I would like Andy to post to the record, the applicant has withdrawn all the concessions that were originally agreed to.
I think that's a fair statement, but let's make sure that, I think we got to note that the applicant wanted to stick to the original height.
Yeah, I've had some conversations with him and trying to follow up on these outstanding issues, and one of the things he mentioned is that they think they're going to proceed with the original size and height of the building.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be a good idea if you could just confirm that in writing. That's fine, that's their prerogative, no problem, but it would be nice to know that ahead of the next meeting. Good, thanks, George. Okay, so I think we had a motion to table. Did we get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And now 1922 Empire Boulevard, we have some folks here on that, the car wash. All right, so at least a couple developments, I think, since the last meeting. One is you've had a conversation with the folks from DeMarco, so that's one. And the second one is, was really a concern that I raised after the fact. I'm sorry I didn't raise it during the last meeting, but I had a concern about the possibility of a backup, if you will, with cars exiting. By the way, there's no intent to have the hand drying the towels, drying the cars?
Nope.
All right, so let me tell you what my concern was. A car's done with car wash. The way that it stands now, I think, the main exit that we're planning on is onto Empire Boulevard.
Yes,
That's correct.
With a secondary to Baytown Plaza.
Right, behind the gas station.
Correct.
So a concern that I had was, are there going to be so many cars held back because of a car trying to turn left west on Empire Boulevard? So something that we did about that, we being town staff, I didn't have much to do with it, but Andy did check with the Sheriff's Department to see if there was any significant number of accidents reported out there when people pulling out, and the answer to that is no. In fact, I don't think they had a record of any accidents reported as being in the area of Taco Bell, if you will. So that's good, because Taco Bell can be, or the former Taco Bell was busy at times for sure. So that's good. Not indicating any need whatsoever for a right turn exit only, which even if we did that, it would burden other properties down the road. And now I think that you've solidified your agreement with DeMarco, which you can talk about in a minute. That's going to make it more possible or more likely that folks can exit that other way out behind the gas station and even turn left or go straight there at that point too. So I'm not really, I think you guys have done a good job covering those issues in my mind.
Dan, I just had a question with
Sure.
I'm not great with scale. So from the exit of your car wash to the left-hand turn onto, was it Empire Boulevard?
Empire.
How many cars, like, tell me the feet that we're talking about. Like, I don't even,
It's around 180 feet.
okay. And how many cars is that?
Figure parking stalls 18 to 20 feet.
15 cars in that?
So that's a lot of cars. We
Right.
have to be.
Yeah.
Right.
And to put it in perspective, on Jefferson Road, we have a facility that is actually more constrained than this one, and from the exit of that wash onto Jefferson Road is about 70 feet. So it's about 100 feet less.
Okay.
And Jefferson Road, is probably busier than Empire, but let's say they're the same in that they are busy roads. And so it works there. And part of the way it works is that, frankly, people come out, and if they're leaving the car wash at 5 o'clock in the evening, they're going to make a right-hand turn, whether they want to go left or not. People generally take the path of least resistance, and so they figure out that at certain times it will be difficult to make a left out of this site, but 90% of the time it won't, and that's
why we have, people can go through the plaza and exit at the light. Anyone wanting
Yeah.
to make a left has that opportunity.
And the other good thing is you do have traffic signals not on both sides
Both sides,
of
right.
this exit, which will tend to slow people down.
Yep,
Other
creates those
areas of
gaps.
Empire, not so much, so, okay. Cool, but in any event, if you could, anybody have any more questions on that issue?
Well, I was just wanting to, what is the path? Because you're going to enter the queuing. That's not going to create a blockage potentially to loop around?
to loop around if you wanted to exit into Baytown Plaza, is
Correct.
what you're saying. On the most extreme Saturday, I could see where the line could back up to that point, maybe a hair beyond. I would guess that 30% of the vehicles leaving the wash will make that left to go vacuum their car first, and then choose whether to leave through Baytown. And especially if they're going left, I would imagine that a bunch of people will want to go out through Baytown just so they can access the traffic signal, which is a lot easier for people to make a left onto Empire than necessarily making that unprotected left out of the main exit. But, when you filter it out, again, people tend to use logic. If that line is longer, they're going to go out onto Empire and not loop back around. I don't see there ever being a case where it's going to be gridlocked, because I think, that's one of the concerns. Are you going to end up in a situation where, people are like blocked in every way? And this is a large enough site that I don't see that happening. And again, if the line's that long, you would be surprised. Some people will pull in from Empire, see that there are 15, 20 cars in line, and just make the right out into Baytown and say, I'll come back later. And that's how that line kind of self-regulates.
And that's a triple entry point you've got into there versus the two at the other location.
That's correct. The site that was just up on the screen on Jefferson Road has just 2 pay terminals and 2 lines. This one has 3.
Okay. So if you are we set with that issue then? Thanks. If you would just let us know a little bit about your conversations with the DeMarco, owner of the Baytowns, about.
So per this board's direction, the day after the meeting, we did reach out to DeMarco directly. He did call me right back, and we had a productive discussion about what their concerns were. And after about a 15-minute conversation, what he had asked for was that we eliminate the access into the car wash from Baytown to eliminate the possibility of cars backing up into that drive aisle, and make it an exit only so that our customers would have access to the traffic signal, which is important to us. We also discussed with him about sharing some of the cost of maintenance of that roadway from the exit of the car wash out to the traffic signal, which is a private agreement that we're working on between the two of us, but I believe that'll work itself out. And that's pretty much it. You know, he said if you guys can do exit only from that, then that alleviates our concerns that we expressed in the letter. I did ask him to send this board a letter to that effect. They did not do that, but we did provide the emails back and forth, and I did copy DeMarco in on those emails to this board so that at least, you know, they're in the loop. We're certainly not doing anything behind their back.
No, we would have heard from them, I think. They're
Relatively vocal.
we always say they're one of our best customers in a sense. We see them a lot at this board. And they do a good job with the plaza.
They do.
So, okay, well, that's great. Anything else? All right. So I think we're unless you have anything else to add, I think we're ready to begin with the seeker here. I would make a motion to declare this an unlisted action under seeker and further to issue a negative declaration.
I'll second.
All right, so we have my motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And on the merits of the application, I would make a motion to approve all three variance requests and then also the request for the special permit on the all three aspects of the signage. So frankly, approval of the entire application. And I'll just try to quickly go through them. In terms of area variances, we have the first one to allow more lot coverage. I don't, you know, it's been a Taco Bell forever. You have commercial property on both sides. I don't even know where the closest resident is, but it's a long way away. So having that variance allows for a smoother operation of the facility, and it's not any significant change from what we have there now. Anybody have any comments on that one? No. All right. So the variance of 15 feet from the minimum 20-foot setback for the resulting in a 5-foot setback from the north. I don't know how close the Taco Bell drive-through lane was to that, but
About 5.
yeah, so it's, again, the same sort of thing. Allows maximum utilization of the property with little or no effect on the neighbor. So any comments on that one?
No.
And then fewer parking spaces from the minimum, resulting in 18. I know that even does take into consideration the use of the vacuum spots as parking spaces. Do we do that? So in reality, it's probably even more of a variance. But again, given the nature of this, the number of employees is not, there's no shop. So people aren't going to get out and go buy themselves a cup of coffee or a soda. There aren't employees drying the cars off, so you don't have to worry about parking spots for them either. So I don't, once again, see any problem with the variance or any impact to any neighboring properties. Any comment there?
No, I agree.
Okay. And then getting to the special permit for the sign, the first one is to allow the double-sided sign, setbacks of 15 feet and 10 feet from two property lines where you're supposed to have 20. You can go up and down Empire Boulevard all day long and find signs that are, with our approval, have been placed in that area. I don't see any impact to any traffic, any safety issues here, sight distance. And it's a very similar approval to other, which is, by the way, true of all aspects of this sign application, similar to what we've approved before. Comments on that? All right. The second one is to allow the building-mounted sign, an additional one. And again, I'm not sure about the laser wash, which is kind of across the street, but if you go down to Delta Sonic, you'll see a lot of signs, and that's a very successful business in the town, and it's good. So I'm counting on the same aesthetically pleasing look for this car wash as the applicant has demonstrated with other car washes, and I have no problem at all with the two signs, especially on Empire, plus people coming from inside the plaza as well. So the extra signage would certainly serve a purpose. And the same thing with the last one, which is more square footage signage than allowed. It's really just a reiteration of what I just said for the second one. Any further comments?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion to
So
approve.
I think we want to add the concession that they made for the exit only as a contingent.
Oh, with the thing with the Marco, sure. A condition of the approval would be that they come to an agreement as described tonight by Mr. Daniele. Absolutely. Good point, George. Good catch. Any other conditions? All right. Well, then, we have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman DeLaus and the board. Very efficient process, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. All right. Let's see. So I think that takes care of everything in the work session, so we can launch right into the public hearings. May we have the first one, please, Andy?
Joseph Polachek, 107 Midland Drive, Webster, New York, 14580. Requests approval for area variances under Section 250-14.3 of the code to allow an existing residence and proposed garage addition with less setback than required under Section 250-5.1-F1 of the code at 107 Midland Drive. The property is currently or formerly owned by Joseph and Jennifer Polachek and is zoned R-1-20, SBL number 093.11-1-1. This is application number 23Z-0008.
Okay, thanks. If you can give us your name and address, and then we'll walk you through it.
Joe Polachek. Address is 107 Midland Drive, Webster, New York, 14580.
Thank you.
Okay.
So it looks like you are here tonight because you'd like to put an addition on your garage. You currently have a single-car garage, and you have a lot that is, I guess I would call your entire neighborhood non-traditional lots, because they're all basically, there's not a single right angle on anyone's lots, which makes it a little bit difficult for building anything that's square on the lot to try to have a setback that works. From what I understand, in your application, it was thorough enough. We got what we needed out of it. You're basically landlocked for where you can build a garage. You couldn't extend the garage to a double-depth garage because you would need a variance going forward. You can't go backwards because you'll bump into your neighbor's house practically because it's already set at 9.5 feet from the backyard line. And really the only viable option is to go next to it, but you still require a variance because you're too close to the back. But you won't be any closer to the back, correct?
Yes, it would follow the same trajectory as the rest of the house.
Okay. When this proposed garage goes up, same kind of siding, same roofing, same colors, it's gonna look similar?
Roofing will be exactly the same. They still make the same product.
Yep.
Just did the roof on the house 4 years ago.
Okay.
So it'll be a very close match.
Yep.
The siding will be vinyl, not, the house currently has aluminum on it. So
But same colors, we're not gonna go, we're not gonna have mixed match colors going around the house, basically, or similar?
the whole color house is gonna change.
Okay.
So it's gonna be either a grayish green or grayish blue.
Okay, but it'll just still be in harmony. You won't have, mismatched things going around in the house, I guess. Okay, good. Any additional lighting sticking out to your neighbors with the, we had this garage over to the side. Will there be additional lighting closer to one area that wouldn't be there before?
Just on the front, left and right side of the garage, there'll be pendant lights and then motion light.
Okay.
In the middle of the door.
Yep. And one unique thing about your property, too, is you're on a corner lot as well, so you're also constrained. I forgot to mention that you're constrained now from more sides because you have to have basically a front setback from two sides of your property as well, where traditionally you wouldn't. The shed there, you're going to basically go, it looked like that shed's going to stay in the same position, so you won't have to move that any closer to the property line for the garage, correct?
The shed will eventually be torn down.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to be required now or not, but that's,
It's not a condition of this application, as far as I know. Driveway's going to be widened, or just as you get to the tail end, is the,
yeah, that's going to be conditional. I've yet to have B&M's going to do the driveway. I have not had them come out and do a site assessment yet. If the base of this driveway is in rough condition, I'm going to tear it out and move the two-car driveway to in front of where the new garage would be. If this one's still in good shape, I'm just going to make it 8 feet wider.
okay, perfect. In terms of drainage, things like that, home has gutters. With the additional drainage, that's still going to be mitigated to make sure it doesn't go where it shouldn't go?
We'll use a pop-up emitter in the lawn.
Perfect. And let me see if I have anything else.
You talked to any of the neighbors?
Yes, thank you. The neighbor to your rear, that's 9.5 feet. Have you talked to your neighbor about that one? Thank you.
Yeah, she saw the sign out front and sent me a text.
Okay.
She just,
See that those signs work, don't they? Every month I say that, and people think, oh, there's that.
I never heard anybody ask my other neighbor down the street about the postcards. Like, did you get your postcard yet? He's like, yeah, I got mine. So the other neighbor said he got his.
Good.
Yeah, it's been pretty seamless. She said it was cool.
Okay.
Sounds awesome.
Perfect.
That's all I've heard.
And the intent's to put another car in, more storage for stuff that might be in that shed right now, things like that?
Yeah, mostly to, work on the car that I have. I can't jack it up to change a tire or change my oil.
Right.
I do it in the garage or in the driveway now.
Yep.
So that's, it'll be a two-car garage in the winter and one car in the summer.
Sure, okay. That's everything I have, Dan.
Before I ask other board members whether they have a question, I just would note if anybody has a comment, you can call 340-8771 or send in a comment or question electronically through the town website, penfield.org. Once I get the right mouse, I will say I don't see anybody in the phone queue, and there are no electronic comments as well. So any other questions from the board?
No.
Okay, anyone in the audience care to speak about this application?
You really brought a crowd with you.
Well, I don't think you needed anybody, but okay, all right. So let's proceed with the environmental.
Okay, I'm going to move this type 2 action pursuant to seeker, requiring no further review.
Second. All right, so Andris made the motion to declare it a type 2, and I seconded it. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, now the merits.
Okay, I'm going to move to approve this variance. There's limited options for what you can do at this home. There are several two-car garages all over the neighborhood, so it's not going to be out of character to have a two-car garage here. With the constraints of the lot configuration and the shape, it's difficult to really find a spot to put a garage addition that wouldn't require some kind of a variance, whether you went forward or to the back or to the sides, just based on where the house is sitting on this lot. We don't see any issues with the environmental. Nothing came up from the application. No adverse impacts to the neighborhood with the addition. And with that, that's all I got.
All right.
Oh,
Good. It's all you.
all right.
Council, I'll ask you, is it permissible to have two people second?
It doesn't need two people to say.
Just needs 1 second.
Very good. All right. So we have a motion to approve by Andris and a second by George. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next application, please, Andy.
Image 360 Rochester, 1128 Lexington Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14606. On behalf of Paychecks Incorporated, requests approval for a special permit for signage under Section 250-10.3-A of the code to allow a larger freestanding sign than permitted under Section 250-10.12-B1 of the code at 911 Panorama Trail South. The property is currently or formerly owned by Paychex Incorporated and is zoned limited industrial, SBL number 138.12-1-5. This is application number 23Z-0009.
Okay, if we may have names and addresses.
Hi, Jackie Cerisi, owner, Image 360, 1128 Lexington Avenue.
Okay.
Susan Dieter, Facilities and Construction Management for Paychex.
Okay, thank you very much. So the bottom line here is your client wants to remove the existing paycheck sign.
Correct.
I think I read somewhere that a couple of letters were broken or whatever the case needed to be replaced, and it's just sort of outdated.
Correct.
And also, another need is because you wanted to improve visibility, I think you said in your letter.
Yes.
Can we pull up the current one?
Should be a couple of images.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, while we're looking for the current one, the V-shaped, I guess you will. So I guess the visibility is sort of the answer, but a new sign, great, no problem. Why does it need to be as big as it is?
Okay, so there were a couple of photographs submitted that show what you can and cannot see from the road there on Panorama.
Okay.
Couple of the issues are the current sign sits so low to the ground, so we're proposing a base and then moving it up. The current letter height is only 15 inches, which is really, if you're standing still looking, is really only visible from 150 feet. And the measurement from the sign to the curb is already 95. And that's if you were standing there at the curb, which of course no one is. So if you're farther out, you're probably doubling that distance as far as the visibility, and then adding in the speed limit as well.
That's good there, yeah. Okay.
So it's really pretty.
Yeah, I did a drive-by, Dan. That was my take on that as well. It was very hard to read the sign from the road.
Anything on the building?
We do not.
Wow. Okay. I'm not saying you should ask for it, but that's, I've driven by it a million times too, and I would have, I didn't know the answer to that. Any idea how many acres that green space is? Ballpark figure is good enough.
Well, I know it's 95 feet from the curb to the sign.
Okay.
So I don't know if we took if you can actually Google map it.
I know it's bigger than my yard.
Yeah, a little bit.
Double the distance in width before you hit the brush.
Probably triple.
Yeah, and of course, the reason I ask that is, to me, it's that even that sign there, which is larger than permitted, still looks small in that vast area of green. Now, do we need to note about the prior approvals or records or anything like that? I mean, we have it in the record now. It's just kind of, we didn't seem to be able to locate.
Well, the sign in that location was originally approved, I don't remember, a long time ago. It apparently has been updated at some point since then, and we couldn't locate a record of a permit for the updated sign.
Do you know what the nature of the updating was?
I think it was basically just a change to the lettering.
Okay, so it's
the actual structure
yeah,
is the same.
We don't think that it was increased in size or anything like that, or moved?
It may have been slightly.
Okay.
So, question, so it's 55% larger than what is currently there?
No. I don't think so. I didn't do it by percent. Hang on a second.
That is currently approved.
I calculated it to be 55% larger than what the board originally approved
in
back in
1985. And then do you know how much bigger it is than what is there right now? Because what's right there right now is bigger than what was approved in 1985. I'm just trying to get a feel for like how much bigger is this going to be?
Yeah, so the lettering that is on it right now is 15 inches tall, and the lettering we're proposing would be 29. So it's going to be almost double.
But the brick structure height is going to stay about the same?
So it's kind of weird because the current brick structure goes right to the ground. So we're going to add that base to get the sign up a little higher. So the actual gray portion is exactly the same height as the sign that's there now. That's 4 foot. It's just taller because of the additional brick structure to raise it up. And then ours is longer. The current sign is about 12 feet long, and ours would be 17. To get that higher letter height, obviously, we had to go longer. Does that make sense?
How much bigger is it than that sign right there? Ballpark, like 25% bigger?
So the base at the biggest slope will be almost 2 feet taller, and it's hillside slope. So height overall, about 2 feet taller, worst case end, and about 5 feet longer.
Okay.
Yeah, Laura, it's about 38%.
But percentage.
Okay.
Based on what she just gave, it's about 38% bigger.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
She needs it in percents.
They know I like my percents.
So the last, I guess, topic I'd ask about is how many people typically are pulling into the parking lot that haven't been there before? On a weekly, daily basis. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
employees go there. Well, I don't know if they still go there, but
Some.
Right.
It is our corporate headquarters, so there is a large training center that we do out of there. So there is some out-of-town visitors, obviously executive leadership and, corporate meetings tend to take place there. So, we've got 11 other properties in Rochester, so a lot of employees do go to this location for meetings.
That wouldn't necessarily be familiar.
Correct.
Right, and it is a fairly busy road with, not such high speeding levels, but people can get going there, so. Okay. I don't see any electronic comments, nor do I see any phone call-ins. Any further questions from the board?
You have no intent on putting a building mounted sign on there, right?
No, they would prefer to have the monument sign.
Right, and just, who knows what happened historically, but just for the record, yeah, you really can't make any changes to this without coming in and asking. But if there's ever...
For the record, it wasn't us the last time. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. And bottom line with that is if there are thoughts about changing something, just call Andy, he'll let you know. Okay, so there's no one in the audience to speak, so I will start with the environmental and make a motion to declare this an unlisted action under seeker and to further issue a negative declaration.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And then on the merits, I'd make a motion to approve. It is a fairly large sign considering the code, but that area of green is just so large that I think the extra square footage is going to be hardly noticeable. And frankly, a smaller sign might look a little bit silly.
So when was the last time you saw a monument sign so far from the road?
Well, that's true, too.
In front of this board.
Yeah. So, and again, the factors that we've already discussed, busy street, some visitors, at least occasional to the property. There is a need for the visibility, and it's going to be, I think, as far as signs go, a very attractive sign. So I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. I just wanted to get you maybe in an ad that says signs do work. I thought that was really good, how you said that earlier.
Yeah, go ahead, you can quote me. Just keep those royalties coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night. All right, that was the last hearing. I think we've taken care of business, so to speak, tonight. So we'll stand adjourned and see you whenever our meeting is in March. Thank you all very much. Great job.